1.
Okay. Good afternoon. Today is the March 16th, 2021 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. We have a quorum available, which we will check on in attendance momentarily, and one application and a few other items, so we should be pretty efficient today.
Bob?
Bob, you're breaking up.
Yeah, everybody is. I'll try it. Ms. Porter, you're here?
Correct?
No. Dan?
Here.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Jane?
Here.
Don?
Here.
Don, you're here? I see you.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Steve, you in yet? Steve?
Yes. Yep, I see him.
Steve's muted.
Oh, good, he's in. He was having problems, but he said he was almost there, so it looks like he's muted, but he's in.
And Erica, you're here.
I'm here, yes.
Okay, we're good to go. I have asked the clerk to go through the preliminary part about reading governor orders direction. So Sandy, can you get us started?
I sure can. This is the remote participation meeting procedure. This meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly thereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Hearing none, I will continue. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A paragraph 18, and the governor's March 23, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 508-945-4410, conference ID 679-594-281#. Despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide for real-time access, and we will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. Bob, do you want me to go over the procedural steps? Robert? The procedural steps. Roll call of all board members.
We don't have to go through the procedures, I don't think,
Oh,
Sandy.
All right.
Okay, the first order of business, now that we're all set, I hope, is the minutes from March 2nd. I was recused for the bulk of that and had to leave a few minutes early, so I'm looking for guidance from the rest of you to whether there are any changes or additions.
Bob, my hand is up. On page 2, third paragraph from the bottom, it says that this was listed as a no in the survey. I'm not sure that people would understand that. Is there some way to word it that we had done a survey, or?
Yep, we can reword that and make it easier to understand. Thank you, Steph.
Expand it a little bit, I think.
Yes.
That's a good suggestion. Anybody else? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Second, I'll second.
Okay, I'll run the roll again. Mr. Messina is absent. The chair votes yes to the extent that he was present. Sandy,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Yes.
Steph,
yes,
Jane,
Yes.
Jane, Don,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and Erica.
Yes.
Erica can't vote.
No, Erica wasn't there, so shouldn't
Wasn't
vote.
there. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, Erica.
That reminds me,
All good.
I didn't identify who's going to be voting in Frank's place. I think, Erica, it would be your turn to do so since Steve was there. Steve was the acting person last time. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So, the first application, Ms. Porter, you want to, clerk, would you like to introduce that?
I get to talk. Aren't you guys lucky? We have application number 21008, and it is for 49 Doane Road, and it is to be heard by, in accordance with Chapter 158, the Demolition Delay Bylaw of the Town of Chatham, General Bylaws, pursuant to the notice of intent to demolish or partially demolish a historic building or structure located at 49 Doane Road. It's been filed by Mark R. Zebrat of 63 Kroll Road in Chatham for Joanne Cummins, 1 Charles Street South in Boston.
Mark, are you with us?
I am
Or
with
is
you.
anybody here for the,
Do you have me?
pardon?
Hello?
Hello, Mark?
Mark, is that,
Yes, I'm here.
okay. Go ahead, tell us what you're proposing.
Well, what we're proposing is an addition of a family room on the first floor and a master bedroom on the second floor. It's an addition to the back north side of 49 Doane Road. The existing building is a 1941 Cape Cod type structure. Nothing special about it. It's a nice house, nice neighborhood, typical Cape Cod neighborhood. The addition really isn't all that overwhelming. I really can't say much more than what the drawings show. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer any or explain further.
Well, it seems straightforward to me. I must say, when I looked at the elevations, it seemed like it was it isn't very large, and walked around the house and it seems pretty reasonable to me, but those are my thoughts. Mr. Aikman, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. I know that our normal procedure is to vote as to whether it's historically significant before we go further, but I noticed that the roof line is higher than the existing house, and I'm concerned with that. Is there any way, Mark, that you can lower that roof line?
Well, I do understand what you're saying, and we did grapple with that. The existing dwelling, the main living room has a ceiling height of about 6'11". They were not really happy with that. They wanted to get the first floor up. And we've got the first floor ceiling in the new family room up to, I think it's up to 8 feet. 8 foot 4.5 on the frame, probably 8 foot 1 inch finish. And in order to achieve that, even to gain that much headroom, we stepped the building down. And you'll notice on the side elevation, which is up on the screen now, the building steps down 7.5 inches. And the second floor steps up like, I think, 6 3/4 inches up on the second floor. And I've done the best I can to minimize the height of the addition. I made the transition area between the addition and existing ridge a little bit lower so that when you're on the street elevation looking at the building, you'll not see that addition because the angle from the ground looking up over the existing ridge. I don't really think it's going to be an impact on the view, and I think it would really be detrimental to the use of the building and the design of the structure to reduce that height.
Mark, and
Yes.
does that mean there's going to be a step down or a step up for the going from one
Yes,
portion of the house to another?
yes, there's a step down from the existing dwelling to the new addition, and there's a step up from the existing dwelling to the new second floor master bedroom. And you can see that on sheet A2.
My experience with going into homes that have the step up or step down is it's a tragedy waiting to happen, but just my opinion.
Well, it didn't go undiscussed, but we had to weigh the option of getting the ceiling heights up to something a little more conventional versus that 6'9" ceiling.
Okay, those are my questions.
Bob? Bob, is Jane? Can you hear me? I would like, talking. Bob?
Yeah, go ahead, Jane. I'm getting cut off periodically, so.
Mark, this is Jane, and I have a question about the application itself. We've had
Yes.
a lot of discussion about dimensions and putting measurements on drawings. So
Yes,
ridge height, it would have been good if you could have shown that. Or there maybe
I
is
did.
one. It's on this one.
Okay.
But my question,
it is on there.
the question really has to do with the application form under number 21. The total square footage proposed, the proposed addition is left blank. And then under number 24, you've written proposed change in structure of the footprint, same footage as demolition. Is that right?
Excuse me again, I'm proposing 242 square feet of addition, which is a 28.2% increase.
So that's the same amount as you're planning to demolish?
No, that is an error. That number should be one slot down.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Where it says total square footage of proposed addition, that should be 242. The demolition shouldn't be 242.
So,
Oh, yeah, it is, excuse me. It is the same number. It happens to be the same.
it is the same.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm looking at the wall area to be removed.
Because the drawing makes it look almost bigger than the original house. But
It is a little, go ahead.
well, I didn't see measurements on all. You didn't put the measurements on existing. You put them on your new. I think it would have been helpful to have measurements on all of the buildings.
Okay.
Old
We can
and
do that.
that's my opinion. Otherwise, I have no trouble with it. I know what Don is saying about step downs. And it would be good if you could have the same roof line, but it's not a showstopper for me.
Well, it is a difficult thing to do, and I would agree that the matching roof line would be great, but it really flattens out the dormer, makes it look a lot less attractive to attain the interior heights that I need. This is really, I think, the best option to get everybody happy.
Okay, but you will in the future put dimensions on everything.
Certainly, I can do that.
Thank you.
Jane,
Don.
Don.
Go ahead, Don. The dimensions are on the plot plan. If you look under the zoning aspect of it, so it does give you that.
So it does give you.
Steph, you got your hand up?
Yes, I do. I'm not sure, in my mind, I don't see the significance of the building as being an old building.
Yes. It's old enough, but I agree it hasn't got that much else going for it. And I guess that's what Don was referencing. We're getting into some details that if we think the building is not historically significant, then we don't need to get into it. But it is helpful to know the scale of what's being proposed. Are there any questions for Mark? He's addressed the topic generally about historical significance or some other aspect of the building besides being 80 years old.
Bob, this is
I
Sandy.
don't-
Oh, I'm sorry, Ben, go ahead.
Well, I thought about this a great deal, and it really doesn't have any substantial historical significance. It really isn't a true Cape design. The windows are misplaced. The dormers are not proportional to what a traditional would be. The chimney typically should be centered. It's just a cracked kind of Cape Cod house.
I agree, I'm afraid, or I'm not afraid, but I do agree. Any other thoughts on historical significance? Hearing none, does the clerk have a motion on the topic?
I do, but I have a quick question for Mark, if I
Okay.
may. Mark,
Sure.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And I'm looking at the site plan. I'm assuming that the existing greenhouse is what the building coverage is calling existing cottage?
Yes.
Okay. Just a question. You have to go before zoning? Or,
We do.
yeah,
At this point, I
for
don't believe
for
we have
coverage?
for the zoning board of appeals. I may have a question about that because the frontage is down to 85 feet. He may kick us to the Board of Appeals. We meet the sideline setback, we meet the lot coverage, we meet all aspects of zoning. However, we don't meet the front yard setback, and I'm not sure if we meet the lot area. We don't meet the total lot area required in that zone. That
Okay.
may kick us to the Board of Appeals.
All righty. Thank you, Mark. That answers my question. Vice, may I go ahead and make a motion?
I wish you would, thank you.
Okay. I move that the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building structure located at 49 Doane Road in Chatham is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in Chapter 158-2, A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission is not going to impose a demolition delay.
Is there a second to that?
Steph, I'll second it.
Okay, chair votes yes. Sandy?
Yes?
Ben?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Don?
Yes,
Erica?
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. All right. But I am on the phone, by the way, in order to get rid of all those noises. Hopefully it's working better for you.
Yes.
All right, old business. The proposed bylaw changes.
Wait a minute.
Thank you all for your consideration.
Oh, you're welcome, Mark. All right, ready for old business?
Yes.
The proposed zoning bylaw changes. Michelle, is Ally with us today?
Hi, Bob. It's Allie. I am with you
Oh,
today.
it is Ally. Okay.
Yes.
I saw that I thought I saw that the select board was going to take up this issue at its meeting yesterday. Did that happen?
I was not aware that they were going to take that issue up, but I can double check to make sure, but I feel like I would be notified.
I would think. I thought it said something about deferring it to not be at this town meeting, but maybe I got confused. But...
No, I'll take a look at the agenda and see. Although I believe the Board of Selectmen meeting is tonight.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yes.
Okay. Well, let me take a look and I'll try to figure it out. But thank you for letting me know.
You're bringing it back to us as a further draft, I take it.
Yep, so the one that you had in your packet was the draft that we had discussed last time with a few of the changes.
Right.
I just wanted to kind of give an update that I have put it in the Zoning Board of Appeals packet and asked them for any comments that they might have. So hopefully we'll start hearing back from them soon on that. And I spoke with the planning board chair, and she's willing to have us come and give a brief presentation on the draft at an upcoming meeting. So I'm coordinating that right now. So we're at the point where we're reaching out and getting some comments from the major boards.
Good. And so are we still on track for the June 12th town meeting, if that's when it actually is?
You know, I'm hopeful that we're still trying, but you know, depending on the amount of comments and revisions and things like that, I'm not 100% sure if we'll be able to make it, but we're still charging ahead kind of as if we were hoping to get there.
Any questions from the commissioners about this latest version, which is, at least to my reckoning, as we discussed last time with the changes that we had suggested?
Bob, it's Don.
Yes.
I have a question about on the second page about the house being originally constructed or to relocate to another site. My understanding is relocating a historic building, it loses its historic designation. Is that not true?
I think it often does. I mean, it's the equivalent of a demolition, I think, from my recollection.
So how can a building be relocated and still be historic?
Good question. The reason Ally had a good explanation as to why we were allowing the relocation.
Yeah,
because we still wanted to save the building, but go ahead, Al.
Yeah, so you guys would obviously know better whether it would be considered historic or not if it was moved, but the rationale for wanting to keep the ability to use this historic incentive if a building was moved to a different lot was because it's my understanding that some other buildings in town have been moved to different lots, and we wanted to preserve those historic structures, but they needed to get variances through the Zoning Board of Appeals. And I think the commission might be able to help me out on which specific, or Michelle might be able to help me out on which specific property that was. But there was a specific example, and that's the reason why we wanted to make the historic incentive bylaw more lenient to be able to accommodate those type of situations. And also, I think we spoke with Sarah Korjeff around it, and she thought that it was a good idea to have that, and I think that was in the original draft, to allow to be able to, you know, move and be able to use this incentive as well, because we want to encourage saving, you know, these old homes, even though they might not be on the original site that they were, you know, built originally in the historical setting. They're still historic, you know, houses in nature, even if they are moved. So we wanted to make sure we, you know, had the ability to keep the historic house and not have them have to get a variance.
Okay, thanks. I just picked that up when I was reading it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Does that answer your question though, Don?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys? Don't see any hands up. Ally, do you want something from us as to whether the Historical Commission has approved this draft before you go to the other guys, or is that
I think that
matter to them?
no, I think that, if I tell them, we did review this with the Historical Commission and, you were supportive of it, I think that that's good. But I think when we go to the planning board, the chair wants at least one, or if two representatives of the Historic Commission to maybe attend,
Okay.
so that we know that, you guys are supportive.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, great.
Anything else, team? All right, Ally, thank you. We're moving ahead.
Thank you. I'll take a look at the board or the select board's agenda to make sure I'm not on it.
No, hopefully I didn't just make that up. Okay, we're next to the U.S. the old Coast Guard boathouse from Stage Island. Stephanie, do you know anything about the CPC process?
I know that we've postponed it again to April, hoping that
Okay.
selectmen have made a decision. There was a lot of, there were a lot of people that were against paying to have the boathouse moved here if we didn't know where it was going.
Right, okay. So you're waiting for the selectmen have agreed to accept it, I believe.
They've already
Now we
done
want
that. They've already done
No.
that. They've agreed
Right.
to accept it.
But it's unclear where, and
Right.
we want to know where before we get the CPC funds. Is that where we are?
Yes.
Okay. All right, fair enough. That's not moving along too well. But you also can tell us about preservation awards? Or is that Sandy?
It's Sandy.
Okay. Sandy, you're muted, I think.
I'm off. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Preservation awards. The 5 people that, the 5 homes that are receiving the preservation award, phone calls have been made, letters have been sent, and I got the nicest phone call from the owners of 685 Old Harbor Road yesterday, and they just were so flattered that they were getting an award. And I said, well, we're delighted that it was submitted and that we would be getting back to them. They're going to put together a list of people, I think they have a son and daughter-in-law and a daughter and son-in-law, that would be interested in joining our Zoom meeting when we do the award ceremony. So, Erica, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Our next meeting concerning this is next Friday, a week from this Friday on the 26th.
Okay, what
And-
time?
Pardon me?
What time is it at?
Michelle, I have to defer to you. My notes are not right in front of me. Do you have?
I believe 9:30 is generally when they are scheduled, but Kevin or Ellie from the Atwood will send along a Zoom invitation.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make sure to let them know that are you back in it, Erica?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well
Oh,
then I'll
good.
make sure they know to send you an invitation.
Great, that'd be great. Thank you.
And
You're
just
welcome.
sort of to finish things up, and prepare ourselves for the May 16th. And Michelle the town is doing a lot of work. Have you gotten everything you need, Michelle, for the boards and the pictures?
I did. The boards are, I'd say 80% done. I just got John Whalen's write-ups for all 5 today. It's a matter of just inserting them and then taking them to the printer. I already have the plaques ordered and they are in hand. So those 2 pieces are very much moving forward quickly.
Great.
Good.
That's all I have to report, Vice.
Okay, thank you, Clerk. Michelle, next item is, I guess, in your bailiwick, the application process and submissions. The draft with all the little red corrections on it, or orange,
Yes.
I guess.
So I did put in everyone's packet, both the current application that's available online and hard copy for applicants, and then I put together a revision of said application that explains things a little, maybe more in detail than had been in the past, and adds a few requirements for submittal. I was hoping that everyone would just review it, and then when Frank joins us again on the next meeting, if there's time, that we could talk more about whether or not you had changes that you wanted, or we could adopt the new form so we can get it out there. I hope anyway, I had it reviewed by Katie and Allie and a couple of other of my coworkers, and they all thought it looked, from their points of view, easy enough to understand and to follow. I welcome any other comments that you may have about, suggestions for doing things differently. But I'm hoping that this new application will help get you, more often than not, what you need to review, and make it easier, a little less confusing, let's say, for our applicants.
I think it looks really good.
I think so. I think it, from my perspective, it seems to already provide for information that we commonly ask for, as in Jane's comment earlier, and may make your life easier because applicants are saying, well, look, Michelle, it doesn't say anywhere that I have to have this. Now it will say that, so you don't have to argue with them about it.
Yeah, it's mostly a misunderstanding on the part of the applicants about just what is required. And I think that in this application, some of the changes I've made really expand on, what they need and how to get it. And, just, I'm hoping it's easier.
Well, I can just, looking at it, I can think of an example of many of your additions that deal with cases that we've had that would have made things a lot simpler if they had already been complied with. So
yeah,
looks good to me.
Well, thank you.
So all the
Jeff, may I?
request is to have a Frank is back, I hope. We can reach conclusion on
May I say
implementing this.
something?
Of course.
I found a couple of things, if I were the applicant and didn't know a lot about historic homes and everything, were a little hard to explain, like GIS map. I would say, what is a GIS map? And assessor's field card. I'd say, what is that and where do I get it? I think maybe we needed a little more explanation for someone new filling out these forms.
Well, we are assuming a degree of sophistication. You're right.
So if someone has a question about either of those, I'm happy to work with them. I could add available on the assessor's database next to the field card, a GIS map. I give them the mapsonline.net, the address to go and find the maps. But if you've got some better wording stuff, I'm all about it. Let me know what you think I should do better, and I'll make it happen.
Okay, I'm just trying to look at it from someone that's new filling out the forms.
Great. Usually when people call or are putting in an application, there's quite a bit of back and forth and conversation between myself and them. And generally speaking, I think when someone, has a question, I can point them in the right direction. But I understand where you're coming from, and perhaps maybe some more direction on both of those points would be helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Michelle,
Yes, Jane.
I love what you said about the writing being big enough to read.
Well, I know that's it. Sometimes it's hard to read them. Lots of times folks will send me plans online and want me to read them, and it's very hard sometimes. So it's important that the plans are easily readable and understandable for the commission members.
Right. Mark's writing today was so small, I could hardly see it without a magnifying glass.
Yeah, so I think in the, well, I know, I don't think that I've asked for plans to be 11 by 17, so that should be helpful. And as long as they can be read, I think it's probably okay, unless you disagree and want bigger plans, but try to make, since there are 14 packets that are required, try and not make it so cumbersome for folks that they have to provide huge plans.
Stephanie, your hand is up. You got comment? Steph? What did I get cut off again?
I didn't lower my hand. I'm sorry.
All right, it's okay. No problem. I think our clerk has developed a growth on her back, though.
A cute one.
Lazy one.
That's her new fur collar.
That's right. This is my new fur collar. I have 2 black cats, Dark and Stormy. This is the little girl, Stormy.
So cute.
She does love to sit on my shoulders.
Mm.
All right. That application, it might be helpful. Anybody has some suggestions could at least send them to Michelle before the next hearing, so she can include those in the next packets, or at least what the suggestions are, not necessarily adopt the suggestions. Is that okay, Michelle?
That's perfect. I appreciate that. It'd be great if you could put it in an email, then I won't mess it up.
Yeah, okay. Chairman's report. We had one administrative review since the last hearing. It was I don't know whether to call it continuation or expansion of the prior one that we had discussed at the last hearing, which is 158 Main Street. You'll remember that's where Minglewood Homes was going to take the roof off and a deck on the back of the house because it was rotting around the edges, and I guess that the roof was, because the roof was leaking. When they did that, they found that the top part of the walls was also rotted down to the door and window frames, and applied to keep going ahead and take the walls down, with the promise that they would put the whole piece back exactly as it looked before, minus the rooftop deck. Don and I looked at it separately, and then after that together for a few minutes with Tim Smith, and agreed that it ought to be taken down before it blew down. The building commissioner is on the case and making sure that nothing gets done that wasn't there before, and he has required a revised building permit for the project. So he's going to be keeping a close watch on it. Michelle, do you have any of those pictures for this?
I thought I was screen sharing, Bob. I'm not very good at this, so hold on. Let me get back to my, boy, I don't know. I thought I was sharing. Let me try that again. How's that? Anything?
No. Well,
Okay.
not on my screen, which is not behaving today.
It is on my screen.
I see it, Michelle.
Oh, okay, great. I'm sorry, Bob. I'm not sure how come we cut you out, but I've got
That's
everything
all right.
here. The wood at the top of the window frames and at the bottom of the deck, top of the walls, if you will. You can see in this first picture here where it's all rotted and kind of gross. And then this second picture, which, hang on, I have to get it to go in the right direction here. There you go. That's a better shot of just exactly what's going on there with the walls. They don't look very, very sturdy.
No, you could sink your fingers into the framing at the top there.
Yeah.
So we are looking, or Mr. Aikman and I are looking for a ratification of our decision to allow Mr. Smith to go ahead and take those walls down under the condition that he replicate everything that was there before they work on this little back part of the house. Would there be a motion to that effect?
Also move.
I will be happy to make the motion. I'm not, this will be a first for me without anything to look at.
Well, I can suggest that the motion be that you ratify the determination by the subgroup for administrative reviews.
Okay.
Sandy, can you not
Yeah.
see the pictures either, Sandy?
Oh, I can see the pictures.
Oh, okay.
I just haven't made the motion, and
Oh, I'm
Bob
sorry.
just did it, and he did such a good job. I'll move that. Steph, are you going to second that?
Yes, I'll second it.
Okay.
All right. Where'd my roll call go? Frank's not present. I vote yes. Sandy, vote.
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Steph,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Erica.
Yes.
Okay. Unanimous. Thank you, folks. I think we're beginning to get a little handle on this administrative review, although we didn't expect to be looking at the same place twice. Where are we? I don't know if we need any further discussion of administrative review application process. Oh, Michelle has a application form draft of. Why don't we do the same with this form, since our chairman is not here with us, and this whole thing was partly his idea. Ask the commissioners review the application for administrative review and the instructions, which are dated February 9th, and be ready to discuss those or approve them at our next session.
I have a quick question, Michelle. Do we have a copy of the administrative review in this application in this packet? I don't have one.
No, it wasn't in this packet. It was in the previous packet.
Okay.
And it was my understanding that you voted to adopt that form at the last meeting, and there's no harm in doing it again when Frank is here. So everybody's on the same page.
Sure.
All right. Well, yeah. I probably missed that part of the last meeting, which is why I didn't know that.
That's okay. I will add all of this again in your next packet for April 6th. So you have the admin review form. And I don't know if everyone needs the application form again, since you have it today, but I'll make sure that anyone that doesn't have it now does have it for the next meeting.
Okay.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
Demolition delays, I didn't see anything on there of interest, although I have a question, Michelle, on the first one, on the current delays. Barnhill Road, delay expired January 2022.
Shouldn't that say expires?
Well, then
expires. Yes,
I
I'm
think it's a
sorry.
typo.
Yep. Thanks, Jane. Sorry about that. Yep.
Okay.
You're absolutely right. My bad. I'll fix it.
And everything else, as far as I know, is unchanged. We
Except for the application for demolition of the structure at 117 Shattuck has officially been submitted but not issued now, but not issued as yet.
Okay.
Michelle, what's the story on that place? Shattuck. That seems sort of backwards. They've applied for new construction, but haven't applied for demolition yet.
Well, they did apply for the demolition. They had not, previous to this meeting, they had applied. They were in the process of submitting, but they were missing pieces to the application, shutoffs, I believe, for the utilities. And that has all been received now. And so the application is officially underway in the review status. Nothing's been issued, obviously, as of the 9th when I looked into this, but The other application for the new structure came in last November, but there may have been some confusion over what was necessary to submit for the demolition permit. A little out of normal protocol, but all good just the same. Our new permitting software online is sometimes difficult for folks, and this may have been the problem there. For the
Okay.
most part, it's great, though, I have to say. For the most part, it's very good and well received.
Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
Shell Drive, I see there was some hearings scheduled for last week. I don't know what the result was, though. Any word on that, Michelle?
I believe that I'm not 100% sure, but I believe the application was withdrawn from ZBA. I would have to double check with Sarah, but I'm pretty sure that's what she told me. I know Conscom had continued it yet again. They were waiting on an independent consultant report. So I don't believe anything happened with Conscom at all. And for some reason in the back of my mind, I want to say that Sarah said that they had withdrawn and were going to come back with a new proposal. I'm pretty confident in saying that, actually.
Okay, so nothing has happened.
Nothing.
In
No.
effect. All right.
Right. Nothing has happened.
Monomoy Theater, I know the demolition was approved, but they're still waiting for the actual plans for the however many buildings, how many houses they're putting up, I think.
So the preliminary subdivision was approved by the planning board on February 22nd, but the application for the definitive plan has not yet been received, to the best of my knowledge. Ally can chime in if I'm incorrect on that one.
Nope, you're right, Michelle.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ally.
All right, that completes the agenda from my point of view. The other thing I think I should mention is that I believe, unless things have changed, that Sandy and Don will not be here next month. Is that correct, you two?
That's correct for me. I'll be away, but if necessary, I could probably go online in Florida. I'd rather not commit to, because I don't know if I'm going to be fishing or beaching or whatever. So, but if you absolutely need me, I can see what I can do. So just
so if it's raining in Florida, you'll be with us. Is that?
Yes.
I too will be away, but I am going to work remotely with the museum. Hopefully they'll get it set up. And so I will have my computer, and if Michelle will put everything electronically for me, because I can't get anything on paper, I will participate the month of April. I'll be gone the month of April, but I'll participate.
Okay. I bring that up just to encourage the rest of you to try hard to be there, and that includes the two alternates, so we'll have a quorum for those two meetings in April. Anything else for the good of the cause?
Bob?
Yes.
Bob, it's Dean. I'm sorry, I just joined you because I was on a Zoom call. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted from my perspective as liaison informationally. I'm happy to offer any.
Well, there is one thing that came up about the select board, and it has to do with the draft zoning bylaw changes. I thought I had seen something on the agenda about that being discussed by the select board.
It must be on, we haven't had it yet. I would imagine if you've seen it, it's probably on a future agenda.
Okay.
We haven't had any, no, we haven't had anything in the last year on that. I remember Frank telling us we were going to see something at some point.
I think the issue was whether it was going to be deferred to not be heard at this town meeting in June, but would be deferred. That's what I recall seeing. But Ally doesn't know anything about it, so yeah. I'm thinking I may be wrong.
I haven't seen anything.
Bob, it's Ally. I just took a look quickly on the agenda tonight, and it's not on there.
Tonight's purely the senior center.
Right. Okay.
Hold 1 second.
Good enough.
I have the future agendas list in the other one. Let me just get it. Hold 1 second, please.
Bob, I also wanted to find out if they're going to be discussing the boathouse.
Okay, we can ask Dean when he gets back.
So,
Tonight's meeting is strictly on 1610.
that's
I
right.
don't think there's anything else on their agenda.
No,
Okay.
nothing else. Nothing else.
Dean, Stephanie had a question, well, that answers it, whether there's been any action on the boathouse, the Coast Guard boathouse.
It hasn't come back to us yet. I spoke with Jill about that today. And the town is in negotiations with Dave Doherty and Jack Farrell about possible arrangements between the town and them for acceptance of the boathouse. In the Board of Selectmen voted to accept the boathouse, but it was a very generic, unconditional vote. But Jill indicated she expected to come back to the select board in a couple of weeks for the board to kind of formalize the arrangement between us and them for acceptance. Okay. I personally would like to see something fleshed out more.
Yes.
Because I personally favor the acceptance. I voted against that motion because it was just too open-ended for my satisfaction. But I personally would like to see the boathouse come to Chatham, and I think that it's repurposing it's being repurposed as an upweller probably is the best solution for it, assuming we can tap into community preservation funds. So
well, that was the reason. That was the reason for Stephanie's question, because they're trying to figure out when or what they should do too. So.
No, they were in front of the Finance Committee today with the CPA recommendations, but Jill thought that the Finance Committee might put that item on hold until the Select Board decides what we're going to do. So it's ongoing. I don't know whether the yacht club piece is going to be part of the solution here. I'm finding that a little bit difficult to understand how that's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a hunch that you could, this is just me, if you put aside the relocation cost and the cost for immediate repairs to make it safe, and you focus solely on the repurposing the building for use as an upweller, well, on the previous engineering report, it showed only a difference of $40,000. And I think if you get CPC funds, you may be able to house the upweller there for the equivalent or even less money than it would cost to put a new building up.
Dean, this is Steph speaking. CPC has quite put it on hold because they don't want to pay to move the boathouse here if we don't know where we're putting it.
Yeah.
So we don't have CPC funds yet.
No, I understand, and I agree with that sentiment. That's why I wanted to know what we were going to do with it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a sense of what to do with it. Some people want to see it. I don't know. The select board feels this way, but some folks in town would like to see it over at Harding's Beach. But I understand it would cost a lot more money to transport that building over to Harding's Beach than it would to put it in Stage Harbor. So I hope that's helpful. But I'm not on the other issue. I don't see anything on the future agenda listings for the zoning changes.
Okay, we'll leave that up to Ally then.
Yeah.
Sorry I brought it up.
That's okay.
Okay, anybody else with a contribution to us? Going to make it within an hour, that's good.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Do I hear anything?
I'll second it.
All right, we got to do the roll call yet again. I vote yes. Sandy?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Erica? Erica?
She's muted.
Oh, yes. Well, we got a majority, so we'll.
Sorry,
We'll go with
it
that.
froze for a second. Yes.
Okay, great. thank you all for being efficient. We got our business done, and see most of you next month.
Absolutely.